up, though, Pride Nation? Welcome back to another Field Review podcast show. I'm your host, Lou G, and I'm excited because anytime I get to talk football and not do it by myself, I'm in a good mood. If you are paying attention and you've looked at my thumbnail up there, you will see that I got some guests here. You know, I got some guests. That's probably about 1,800 of them, but I only got two, and two works. Two works for me. I don't need two to have this fun. But today our guest is going to be from the Man Hour podcast show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not subscribed to these people, then you are missing out because they are talking about everything from freaking golf. I didn't know that's even a thing. Just, you know, I don't know how you even talk about golf on the radio, but they do it. And they talk about baseball and they talk about basketball and they talk about football. And so with that being said, I'm a subscriber of theirs. Let's get him in the building. We got ourselves. First man up is Mr. Buck from the Man Hour. What's going on, Buck?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for having us. We are really excited to be a part of the Luke G's Field Review show tonight. And go Lions, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, if you rap something, it's okay. But, you know, you're going to get a little pushback from the crowd if you say anything outside of Go Lions. And then we have Mr. Torrey, another half of this beautiful package. What's going on, Torrey?
How is it going, Luke? We are, like Buck said, we're just happy to be here. We're amazed to be here. Being in Wisconsin, I think I'm gonna make some Lions fans a little bit upset today.
Just a little bit.
But I'm gonna put a caveat in there. But I got some good news too.
I mean, especially if certain things go into play with certain quarterbacks over there. But we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. You know, y'all know me, ladies and gentlemen. I got to do the roll call, see who's in the building with me. I got BD Buster, Sweat Bread, that dude live, Sean Parker. We got the analytics den. Let's see. Obviously, we got our Man Hour family in the building. Kurt Romero, Blue Jay Sarge. Let me go on down up here. We got Tori Anderson. Let's see. Carl Campbell. Ghost Gunner, David Kumar. Let's see. Make sure I ain't missing nobody. If I missed you, I do apologize. Cap Ice Code, Motor City Thanos, One Funky Lions fan. Let's see. Brandon Combs, John Kapler, Chris Watts, Motown Football, Frog Crop. I think I hit everybody, and if they roll in, we'll get into it. Now, listen, people. Full disclosure, I stumbled upon their channel oddly enough, listening to the podcast, and I'm like, oh, these guys are having fun. And they were talking about the NFC North, and, you know, the person who said this is not on, but they essentially said that the Lions were going to go like 2-15, and I about damn near lost. I was like, what? Based on what? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Buck who was like, why would they go 2-15? In fact, I think he even discussed about the home field advantage. Now, I'm gonna have fun with this today, okay? Because this is what we do. This is sports. So right out the gate, we got to get into it straight up the bat. But give me your Detroit Lions 2021 season record prediction for the season.
Yeah. So first things first is this schedule is not favorable at all. I mean, you got the Packers like week 2, you had the 49ers opening week, and then the Baltimore Ravens coming to town week 3. So it does not look pretty right out the bat. And I got to give you guys full disclosure on that. And I think this season starts rough. We're talking 0-5, maybe even 0-6, just depending on how Joe Burrow looks coming into week 6 there. But my overall win-loss total is a 7-10 record this season. I think they get hot late toward the end of the season, especially in that middle part, like starting about week 8, week 9, coming off that off week, and I just like that stretch. And I think when you play a good 4 or 5 games in a row, you start to roll, you start to click, and I see 7 wins coming off this from this team. Okay. Believe it or not, your record is higher than most Lions fans. I don't know why, but because like I said, like I have believed in the Lions for the last couple seasons, and yes, they had some questionable offseason moves. I mean, trading Matt Stafford to me was kind of a like, what are you guys doing? But I mean, Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback either, but just for some reason, I feel like the Lions have been in this lovable loser mode for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And then finally, like at some point, you have to be like the Browns and everything has to click. And, you know, and I thought it was going to happen last year, but for some reason this year, I think they do take a step back just because of the new coaching staff and quarterback and GM, etc. But just I have faith in this team to get hot. Seven wins is kind of a downside to be honest, because I do have them dropping some games that they could easily win. So I mean 8-9, 9-8 is not out of the question either.
Okay, yeah, I got the floor at 8 wins and the ceiling at 10. Without me even going through the schedule just in total, I just look at the opponents. I have them beating, I have them beating certain teams like the Cardinals. I have them beating the Bengals. I figure if you split with the division, that's 3 right there. But I think we could potentially sweep the Bears because. Think about it. The Bears over there doing the same thing the Lions did, right? We had third-year guy, basically on the hot seat, GM on the hot seat, and you let them panic and trade up for a quarterback. Now what? He's not starting. Your offensive line is still in shambles, and you forgot you got a running back. So, yeah, I think we can sweep them. I think it's possible. But we'll see. Tori, what do you say? What is your prediction for the Detroit Lions 2021 season?
I'll start it off on a good note. I have them finishing second in the North this year, behind obviously.
Shit. Oh, okay. Well, listen, talk about perking up ears. Well, let's talk about it. So finishing second. Let's go.
Because I believe the Bears will be in shambles yet. I don't think the Vikings are very good even with Kirk Cousins. I don't believe in that team. However, the rest of the division behind Mr. Rogers' neighborhood there. I have the Lions going 6-11 this year. The one thing that I really like is the talent that is young on this team. That defense in a year or two, we're all going to be talking about them as if they're top 5. If they can take the next step this year, and I think they finally got the right man in place with Dan Campbell. One, he's a former player in Detroit. 2, that guy is insane, and I absolutely love it. I love the fact that he brings such a fire to that team, and I think they are going to struggle a little bit this year. They're going to try to find their identity this year, but I think overall they could, and I think I got them sitting at 6-11, but it could sneak up to 7-10 or 8-9. I actually have them split in the division going 3-3, and there again, Detroit will always take Minnesota and Chicago to the brink. And so therefore that could be 2 more wins right there if they take both of those games, just because I don't see either one of those teams being very good this year.
Brandon sweep the Bears. Listen, let's be honest. If you got 2 ways to look at this. One of the things that I've always been is objective, and I simply just look at little pieces that make sense. Naming the last team who head coach, general manager, both on the hot seat, both coming off a subpar season, just magically, you know what, let's figure it out and get it done. It didn't happen for Green Bay. It didn't happen for the Bears. Don't even count.
How they don't count? I mean, they started off season 5-0 when clearly their coach was on the hot seat and their general manager was just on the hot seat too. So,
are you talking about the first head coach and general manager before they went to Matt Nagy?
No, I'm talking about Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. They were both on the hot seat, I think, all of last season, and the only reason why they are there is because of the playoff berth. That's the only reason why they are still there.
Yeah, I think the seat started to get hot, but I wouldn't say they were on the hot seat last year. You got to keep in mind that with last year, a lot of the option of people opting out, a lot of people was going to be spared outside of Matt Patricia, and it should have been that way. Because the Bears before then had already had some successful records, whereas, Matt Patricia took over a team that was 9-7, went 6-10, then proceeded to go 3-13. And obviously, I think he was there for 4 games or 3 games or whatever before he got fired after getting blew out by the Panthers and getting blown out by the damn Texans, which I find ironically funny. But you know what? No, I don't think the Bears would even count for that. There's no way they could count for that because they didn't have you guys were the hot seat started this season, which is why I think they should have just fired them if they was going to start it last year, but they didn't. But I think their seat got hot last year, but that's about where I think it stopped at. Now, I will say this. We talked about the defense being exciting in a year or two. I think the defense is going to be exciting this year, in all honesty, because if you just look at the fact that we were 32nd, gave up the most points, not only in NFL, our history, we outdid our own team that went 0-16 defense and gave up more points and still won 5 games.
Right.
Still won. That's just nuts to me. Did that without even having a Kenny Galladay. I think he only played 5 games. He did just enough to get his contract honored. So I think it's going to be a big turnaround and it's going to be swift, in my opinion. But the Bears on the hot seat. Now I think that started this year. Why do you think they was on the hot seat last year?
Who the Bears or the
Bears?
Lions. Well, I think the Bears were on the hot seat just because of when you bring in a quarterback like Foles, like you obviously brought him in to be the guy, and then when he wasn't the guy, and then you draft Mitchell Trubisky over, say, Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun and whoever else was in that class. I mean, that is strike 1 and strike 2 there, and then strike 3 was not making the playoffs. So, I think them making the playoffs is the only reason why Matt Nagy and Pace are still there in Chicagoland.
I do know, like I said, like the guys from Bear Down, shout out to them, and Quincy Bell Sports, shout out to him. When talking to them, and they're Bear fans and stuff, I think the census was with the fans that y'all were sick of Matt Nagy, but the organization was like,
whoa, don't put y'all. Brandon Combs is Bears.
That's Brandon Combs is Bears. Put Brandon's name on that. Ain't the rest of us.
They said, don't put us in that boat. My apologies. But I know that a lot of the Bears fans was really nice. Luke G, this guy should be your co-host. He is very
Tori's
smart.
the brains of the operation. Simple as that. Yeah.
Well, look, we already got. Look, Tori's drunk. I didn't know you came on today drinking today. So you're holding it really well.
We started about noon.
That's what I'm saying. Get it going.
I literally swapped out my work computer and put the mic on and put this laptop on. I swapped one work computer for the next one.
Oh, you did all that while drunk. Impressive. See, and you guys say that they can't be multi-talented. Let me dive into this part of it because obviously, your predictions line up in a way with what the national media say is going to be that the Lions is probably going to end up having a really bad record, even though a lot of people have the Lions with the first overall pick, which I don't.
I don't see that. That's going to be Philadelphia or Houston, one of those two teams. I got both of them in my predictions going 2-15 this year. Listen, they are just not good football teams.
I just feel like it's odd to me. When you look at this team, like I said, worst defense in the league, and they could not stand the guy who was coaching. They love the guy who's coaching now. They definitely have made some improvements and moves made on the defensive side of the ball, and the offensive side of the ball, but yet we somehow going to end up with the first overall pick. How? Like all of a sudden, Houston, the team who sucked and had their quarterback have an MVP season and still suck, they just gonna magically get better because what? The fairy came in and sprinkled dust on it. I mean, what the hell is going to happen there? Everybody's assuming that Urban Meyer is about to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to the next level. Everywhere he's been, he cheated. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like everywhere he's been, he cheats.
They said as soon as they start going through a rough patch, in 2 or 3 years, health problems will pop up again, and he will have to step down because that is his MO everywhere he has been, except for Utah. He just used this Utah job to step into the spotlight.
I mean, it's just weird to me. I mean, Tim Tebow comes back as a tight end. Really? That's your answer? Well, we want to give the guy a shot. Really? Like,
33 years old, hasn't played in the league since 2012.
Right? Like, what? I'm just not gonna get into it. Brandon Combs says, "Bro, please tell me you are coming on to the man hour so I can talk some sense to you." I am most definitely going to be on there. And I think the idea of talking sense to me, would be more of me talking sense to you, because I would have to then introduce you to the same options that Morpheus offered to Neo. What pill do you want? Because I want to wake you up. I don't want you to stay sleeping this. What pill do you want? Because we can talk about it. I'm of the belief that if you want to be awake, you might want to go with the pill that's in my right hand, that red one. But if you just enjoy the la la land as you are in, then I can help you with the blue pill. It just means you got to keep taking those blue pills. That's all I'm saying. That's all it means. So let's get into this and talking about terms of the Lions and the improvements, because I kind of jumped into it a little bit early, but why not? Tori, tell me, what improvements have you seen in Detroit Lions that they have made that you think that they still need to make to quite be over this hump for you?
Honestly, they're receivers. You got Tyrell Williams, who when healthy is a deep threat. You got Brashard Perriman, same thing. When healthy is a deep threat. After that, you're going to be relying on my guy Quintez Cephas from Wisconsin. So, but he's more of a strong body. He's not your deep threat. He's a across the middle, possession type receiver. So I think the one thing that they need to do is if they can improve that receiving core just a little bit. They have basically 4 mid-tier type guys where Tyrell Williams is a great number 2 receiver, but is he going to be able to perform in that number 1 role? I don't know. And there again, Perriman and Williams both have always had problems staying healthy.
Yeah, I mean, but I think their roles is going to be a little bit different. And I think the way that they're going to be used is going to be a little bit different. Now, obviously, availability is a huge part of it, but I think the Lions were strategic in what they did in bringing those 2 guys in. You're obviously going to do a lot of underneath passes with the tight end, with the slot receivers and the running back out the backfield. You're obviously going to do that. Their whole job is to simply, when everybody comes up, take the top off. Otherwise, let them sit back, and we're going to dot you up underneath and run the ball. So I think you could be right about the receiving part in a way, but at this point, they're just simply for other teams to respect their speed. Sit here and play with us if you want to, and we'll throw the ball over the top. And it's something that I think is obvious and something that they've been doing for a while. But what do you think? I mean, what are those improvements that the Lions have made and still need to make that would put them over the top in your opinion?
So first things first is I like the draft pick of TJ Hawkinson a couple years ago. Like I thought he was by far one of the steals of that, was it 2019 draft he was in there, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's going in his second year, third year. But like I like his growth over the last season. I've been watching your guys' OTAs and camps and stuff like that, and I've been following him on Instagram, and it looks like he's put on about 10 pounds, and he looks faster too. So just the mindset of TJ Hawkinson has definitely, kind of got me excited. And just I have to go what Tori said on this. Like, I don't like your guys' wide receiver core. Yes, I know you said you have all the speed in the world and test us if you want. Like, we'll just throw the ball deep. Well, when teams start to put 8 guys in the box to stop the run and they bring pressure on the outside, all you want, and you want to have about 2.5 seconds to throw out the ball, and it takes a guy 4 seconds to run a 40-yard dash. I mean, speed only kills if you have a little bit of protection. And yes, I've seen what people said that the line is top 5 if healthy. That is the key word there. If healthy, if the offensive line is healthy, yeah, they might be a great a great offensive line. But the problem is they haven't been healthy. So there is a possible free agent out there, a possible trade in Julio Jones. I think if Julio Jones comes to the Detroit Lions here, I think you guys easily have 12 wins on the season. I think Julio Jones is that big a factor, that big of alpha, then that alone will let your speed work. What is so great about Kansas City Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, is we have speed in all of the right places, and we have an alpha in Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce demands 2 guys on him pretty much at all times, and Julio Jones is going to demand 2 guys on him at all times. Let your speed work there. So I would throw the house, the car note, and my dog to get Julio Jones if I was the Detroit Lions.
Oh, but no. Listen, but it's okay. All right, this how we gonna answer this. But is Julio better than Calvin Johnson?
I would put them 1A, 1B.
Who's 1A?
Waffle.
No, Calvin Johnson. Speaking of which, Waffle merch at manhourradio.com. Check it out. But I would say Calvin Johnson is the 1A just because he found the end zone more than Julio Jones. Now, if Julio Jones could catch the ball within the 20 yards, and then find the end zone, Julio Jones might be the all-time great receiver. He just simply can't find the end zone.
See, here's the problem with me. If Julio is not better than Calvin, and we had a Calvin Johnson and had a team still go 0-16 with him, we've had a Calvin Johnson with a Matthew Stafford and still couldn't get a playoff game.
Who was your running back that particular year, though?
And what year? The 0-16?
Oh, yeah, 0-16.
It was Abdullah, wasn't it?
No. I think it was Kevin Smith and Jesus, what's the other damn dude name?
Exactly. That's exactly my point. If you have to think about those guys, your running game was trash. DeAndre Swift, I think he is a workhorse in the NFL, and he will not be a every down back, but he will be the guy, much like Christian McCaffrey is for the Panthers, if you guys give him the opportunity to. And a strong game on the short game, on the swing passes, some 36 dives, that type of play to keep the defense honest. I mean, you guys are golden with Julio Jones. It
just doesn't make sense for the Lions from 3 standpoints. One, he's an agent receiver, and it's going to cost us draft capital that we don't need. So we probably get 2-3 years out of him. 2, he has injury history.
So does Jared Goff, but you traded him in 2 first-round picks, right?
Yeah, but the difference between Jared Goff and this guy, because Jared Goff injury history is not a real thing. Julio's is, and Jared Goff is a quarterback replacement for Stafford. So yeah, you get the 2 first-round picks, you get the 3rd, but you get the quarterback replacement. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to root and say, hey, if we hadn't did that trade, and we're taking a Justin Fields, I'm probably want to throw up in my throat and choke on it. It just doesn't make sense. And so with the receiver position, 9 times out of 10, teams are not winning because they have this dominating receiver. If that's the case, the damn Cardinals should have been to Super Bowl 8 times over. It doesn't change anything for you.
Who was the Cardinals' dominating receiver before DeAndre Hopkins came into town?
Larry Fitzgerald?
He was not a dominating pitcher. He was not a dominating pitcher.
Me?
No, he is not even a top 10 receiver.
He's a top 5 receiver all time.
What? He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, you can say all you want, but if you put Larry Fitzgerald toe to toe with 10 other receivers in the league, is he better? No.
Yes.
No, he's not.
Yes. It's a reason why they call him the bona fide Hall of Famer. All he did was his job, and he did it at the highest level. I mean, but again, keep in mind, I know that you're trying to make the point, so I don't want to kill you too bad. But let me just try to bring you home a little bit, or at least get you into a place of agreement. Just try to walk with me for this. The Detroit Lions are not going to be playing the same style of football, right? And so we've had a Kenny Galladay. We've always had deep threats, right? But you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, correct?
Right.
Okay. The Chiefs do the exact same thing that I believe that the Detroit Lions are about to do. They literally scare the hell out of you with Tyreek Hill on the outside. At the time, it was Sammy Watkins. And they have all these guys underneath. It's a reason why your tight end has so many freaking receptions and yards, because they knew that if you don't get back, they're going to take the top off. When they finally came up to cover the tight end, then you would hit these underneath guys, these Miko Hardmans and the other receiver. Damn it, I forgot his damn name that quick. It's Jesus.
Byron Pringle?
Yes, that guy. Thank you. They would hit them guys underneath, and then people would try to come up, and they would like, okay, Watkins and Hill, here you go. Free, go. Be free. And they would literally just dot them up down the field. And then when you look at when y'all added Clyde Edward-Helaire, he was to be in there to give y'all a little bit more depth at the running back position as well. In the case of the Lions, we ain't never had no run. It's been a long time since we had a run game. And that has been the problem. That's what I'm saying. That's been the problem with the Lions. Now, Tori, because I see right now, you know, we gonna have to do an intervention with Buck. Okay.
We say that almost on a weekly basis with some of the state.
Listen. He
Before we get carried away here, let me talk a little bit about Chiefs here. First of all, Chiefs Kingdom all day long. With that being said, are you telling me that Patrick Mahomes is not the reason why all those weapons are excelling the way they are? Just because if you look at this, first of all, I am an Alex Smith fan, but Alex Smith had Travis Kelce. Alex Smith had Tyreek Hill. Alex Smith had Byron Pringle. Mm-hmm. Was that offense the same potency as it is with like Patrick Mahomes? Absolutely not. So your quarterback, it has given them the ability to stretch the field, to make Travis Kelce the guy that he is. It is not that speed on the outside.
Because Alex Smith couldn't throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field.
Wait a minute. It's no way. Let's be honest. If what you say is so true, then explain to me what happened to them in the Super Bowl. Because at that point, it's the quarterback, right? So are you willing to say that, because if it's the quarterback who's doing all this, are you willing to say that it's the quarterback fault that y'all lost that Super Bowl against the Bucs?
Yeah, facts, 100%.
Okay, so if you can say that, then you already winning in my book, because most people don't say that.
There are three things that went bad for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. One, Patrick Mahomes had a turf toe, which he got repaired like a month ago. Two, three of our offensive linemen got hurt in the AFC Championship game, and three, we had off-field issues with our coach drinking and driving and killing some young kids.
Well, I think the reality is this, that when you go through and you look at most of these teams, especially the Lions, I'm telling you, is this the idea that the quarterback is the savior? It's a myth. It's just not true. This idea that this quarterback did this, no. People respect the speed on the outside, and it is just what it is. There's no way impossible I'm going to sit there and act like Dante Culpepper or Randall Cunningham during the Chris Carter, Randy Moss era. They made those guys so much better. No, you respect the speed on the outside, and that's the purpose of it. They are literally going to do the same thing that Kansas City did. Tori, I can see right now that this right here, this intervention probably ain't going to go well. Okay. But let's talk about it. Let's have a little fun with it. What improvements do you think the Lions still need to make to put them over the top, in your opinion?
I still think that they need a little bit on their defense yet. I would be looking for another linebacker, maybe somebody that gets cut that we didn't expect to get cut on the final cutdowns. You've got Jamie Collins, who is a phenomenal defensive leader, but the rest of the linebacking core does not scare me. I think they need in order for that defense to go over the top, either one of those guys, A, develop that they have starting, or B, go out and get a veteran that's, still got a little bit left in the tank that can generate a little pressure, can drop back into coverage, stuff like that, for them to really bring that defense to where it needs to be this year.
See, I think the biggest need that we have is the safety spot. Once you go Tracy Walker, it's like, then who? Like, seriously. Marlowe is not really like super proven in my opinion. Will Harris, he ain't look great, but I'm gonna chalk it up and pray to God that was because of Patricia, because I don't think nobody looked great under Patricia. I mean, hell, for crying out loud, he turned the free safety into a box safety. Where they do that at? Like, you take Jelani Tavai, who probably should be rushing the quarterback or playing inside linebacker, and you decide to make him a quarterback spy for people like Patrick Mahomes. Who in the hell is he catching? Like, it's just the little dumb things that don't make sense to me that stand out to me. I think that when you look at the improvements that this team needs to make, mostly they're still on defense. We still can use another linebacker, still can use another safety. But the reason I'm optimistic, and this is right here where I can't believe I'm going to say this, is because the Lions defense is going to be the exact same thing that the Packers defense is. Get two guys on the outside.
That's where I will 100% agree with you right there, because like, I know you said you're concerned with safety, but you bring in another linebacker, somebody else that can come off that edge, that's going to make your safeties better. It's going to give them a little bit more time to react. And that's where I kind of base they need to get another linebacker to come in there to kind of set the pace for that defense. So, and like you said, you compare it to like that Green Bay defense, like, it's an all or nothing defense, which frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates you to no end, where it's like one week we look like the greatest defense in the league, and the next week we look like we wouldn't beat a college football team
because of that secondary. Y'all, you see, you guys have the safety, in my opinion, that can be the threat, but the safeties only work in tandem. When Savage is not in with Amos, then it's not the same. That's why for me with the Lions, I'm like, we need another safety, because I think with Walker, he has the ball skills to get his hands on the ball. Now, I know that Izzy77 says, Luke, the other safety is going to be Afitu Malafana-Walu. Hope I said that right. But he, if that's the case, fine. I just want another safety, and I really want somebody that's going to put fear into the other team's heart. And then, so to me, I expect this team to be something different. I expect for them to be a team who defense takes a huge leap. I watched the same thing happen with Green Bay, and I laughed at it. I was like, man, Preston Smith ain't really done nothing in it. And well, damn, they deployed the defense for him to do something. And I was like, well, okay, now I take that back. And so these little things make sense to me. I can see where it gets to a certain point there. Let me ask you this. Starting off with you, Buck. What is the roster move that has surprised you thus far with the Lions that they've made so far?
Well, like I already spoke on earlier, but the whole trade for the Jared Goff thing really kind of shook me a tad bit, just because I figured Matthew Stafford will be a line for life, and they would kind of just rot away his career. But I mean, like, I hate to say the draft pick, but drafting the best lineman in the draft, possibly the greatest player in the draft, and like in Sewell, I mean, that is by far one of the best transactions that like you guys could have had all season.
Yeah, I got some strange ones, but I know people are going to think I'm crazy because they usually say I am. I know, I'm used to it. Shout out to my man Jim Live. I was just collaborating with him on, I want to say that was Friday. Had so much fun with him. He says, I know I didn't hear any Fitz hate. Man has 3 legendary careers in one. Listen, man, I didn't say it. Buck did.
Yeah, I did.
Don't say Luke said it. Buck said it. I didn't say it. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Also, Gym Live. They want you to join them, so I have forwarded over the information for them to do that. So make sure we did at your request. So I got that done. So I'm pretty sure y'all will be reaching out to do something. But yeah, I mean, you know, for me, the move that was the most surprising. One, the trade obviously could be a good one because I had no idea we was going to get 2 first-round picks, a quarterback replacement in the third for Stafford. Never saw that coming. Never. But for me, the surprising move was moving on from Kerryon Johnson. Now, I know a lot of people go, "Oh, it'd be okay, Kerryon, it is, and he's that." I'm like, I get it. But they strategically, in my opinion, are doing what I wish they would have did with Kerryon, which is when you go and you look at with Crosby right now, they just added another damn tackle, an undrafted tackle out of Utah. If that ain't indicators that they're trying to get Crosby the hell up out of here for whatever they can, they're serious. And I'm trying to figure out, why didn't we just try to get something for Kerryon? If you know, and then it's all this talk about blocking. Who's a better blocker than Kerryon? It just seemed weird to me. Call me crazy, say I'm nuts. But I just thought if you're going to get rid of him and get something in return and try to keep building up that draft capital. They just said bump and let him walk. In the case of Stafford, he asked to be traded. He even said in reports that he didn't even think they was going to honor it, but they did at his request to show respect. And that's simply because of new ownership. She's trying to change the way that the Lions is perceived as an organization. I believe she has already started that process and doing that change. And so I can see why those little things are shocking to people. Tori, what do you say? What is that surprise move the Lions have made thus far this offseason?
I'm going to go with Darren Fells because you now have 8 tight ends on your roster right now going into training camp. So like legitimately, what was the need for another tight end on the roster?
Well, in all fairness, it was supposed to be Hockenson and Josh Hill. And Josh Hill ended up retiring, but I have to believe that they knew that he was going to retire in the first place. And so I think this is just my little weird hypothesis. Y'all don't gotta, agree, but I think what they were thinking is if Sewell and Slater is off the board and Pitts is there, they were going to take Kyle Pitts. But when they looked up and saw Sewell fall, they went, this worked out better than we could have thought. And now they said, you know what? Because it's not like we're going to be running a whole lot of like two tight end personnels, which is another thing that I think somebody brought up earlier about. I think it was Buck who said that if they're not giving them enough time with this line, TJ Hockenson a blocking tight end. Yeah, you get through that, you was a badass defense. I just don't see it, but given the fact that you said if healthy, then we needed another tight end. The other guys are on tryout. They're trying to figure out who's going to be tight end 3. That's the real one. So is Brian Hunter going to be tight end 3?
I like him a lot.
Brian Hunter?
I do.
Yeah.
I just the kid's got all the upside in the world, but it's whether or not for me. I think for him it's more between the ears than anything else.
Brian Emmanuel says, how do you know they didn't try to get something for Kerryon? He can block, but runners got to run too. I think he can still run. The reason I believe that they didn't try to get anything for him is because Kerryon said the first time he met or heard from the Lions brass is when they told him he was cut. So at that point, I said, okay. And then there was nobody who, I didn't see any reports that said that they tried to trade him. I seen a lot of fake news recently, and I've called BS on that fake news. So I kind of like dig through stuff. I didn't see anything that would indicate that they tried to trade him. I mean, there was teams taking running backs galore in the draft. You could have traded them then, and that didn't happen. But I'm just putting it out there. So it's one of the things that like I said, they could have tried it, but I don't know. Hunter Bryant to me is a wild card because he does have the ability to be a catching tight end, and Fells can block and catch. So I think Hunter Bryant has a good chance to still making that third spot. But with this team, I don't know. This coaching staff is different. Let me ask you this. Let me start off with this one with you, but what must the Lions do to go from worst to first, in your opinion?
Well, first things first is Aaron Rodgers when he gets traded from Green Bay to Detroit. That will definitely help him out 100%.
Wow.
And then Andy Dalton not playing for the Chicago Bears would help them out as well because Andy Dalton is a top 15 quarterback in all of the NFL.
This is why we need interventions with him on a weekly basis.
He's joking, right? Is he serious?
No, he says this on a weekly basis that Andy Dalton is a top 15 quarterback in this league, and we all call him nuts.
Okay, you know what? Let me help him. Let me help Buck out. Buck, I'm doing this for your own good, okay? Take 2 of these and call me in the morning, okay? You have got to be kidding me. Did you say Andy Dalton's a top 15 quarterback in this league?
Actually, upon further analysis, he might be top 13 now. So
top 13. He's not. He's barely been number 1 on the Bears. Top 13.
Whoa. He is the second best quarterback in the NFC North, and that's only because Aaron Rodgers is still there. I think Jared Goff is highly overrated, 100%. But to answer your question, how can the Detroit Lions become from worst to first? Is they have to buy into the system 100%. They have to drink the Kool-Aid that the coach is giving them, and they have to buy into it. And Jared Goff has to play the way he played on that Super Bowl run for the Rams. 2018, I think they went to the Super Bowl. I can't remember for sure. But Jared Goff basically has to play out of his mind, and the rest of the defense has to play top 10. They have to be able to hold teams underneath 10 points per game. No. Let's say 14 points a game.
Okay. Buck, I was not prepared for this. I gotta say, it's very few times I can be left speechless, but damn it, you did it. You shocked me. You fully done it. Tori, remind me to get you a beer. I know you need a drink after this. I can accommodate. Apparently, we talking top 15. For a guy on his
Luke, we're gonna get a nice bottle of scotch and sit down and just drink the whole thing.
What the hell? I don't even drink or smoke, but he made me want a blunt. What the hell did he just say? Like, come on. Like, okay, we go. I'm bringing it back. I'm back together. Tori, Jesus, Andy Dalton. Lord Jesus.
Andy Dalton's better than Lamar Jackson at the quarterback.
Oh my
God. You know what? If I could burn up your mic, I would. It's no way possible.
Just mute him.
I mean, right? What the hell? Oh my God! Look, and the sad part is this. Listen, Tori. Even Brandon came through and said, "Mute his freaking mic before he says." Too late. Too late. It happens. Tori, what can the Lions do to go from worst to first, in your opinion?
First, they would need the Aaron Rodgers trade to Washington to go through.
Okay.
Well, we play Washington. So.
I'm telling you right now, like if there is a deal, I would put money in Vegas on that it's the football team that he goes to. It is the most complete team.
So hold on. So neither of you think he stays in Green Bay?
I think he does. I think he does stay, just because there's too many factors. You know, obviously being a Green Bay fan, being from the area, there's too many factors that come into play that say he is coming here, that he is going to come back. Do you think Bakhtiari would have signed that big old deal towards the end of last year if Aaron was kind of waffling about wanting to come back?
Yeah, I think he's going to be there too. But yeah,
AJ Hawk coming out on the McAfee show and saying this is a bunch of garbage. After the Kentucky Derby, where they just spent all weekend together. Yeah. So there's too many signs that a lot of this is hyped up, and now they're like, oh my God, he didn't show up for a voluntary workout. Well, one, it's voluntary. Two,
keyword there.
What to do? They're like, well, he doesn't get a $500,000 bonus. The man's making $37.2 million this year. You think he's going to miss $500K?
Plus the cap hit that it would put on the Packers would be. Oh my God! I think last time I looked at it, it was like 37 or 38 million in dead money.
If they trade prior to June 1st, if it's after June 1st, it's still up there. It's like 15 or 20. I can't remember if it was 15 million or 21 million.
So I thought I saw 21 at the June 1st.
It makes zero sense for them to deal him. Now, next year, the hit would go way down. It'd be like 7 million or something like that. I could see it next year, but I don't think they're not doing anything until after the 21 season.
Okay. It makes zero reason to deal him. This is a perfect time to deal him. He is still at his prime. He just come off an MVP caliber season. You can get
it wasn't MVP caliber. He was the MVP.
Well, that is to beg to differ here. But I mean, come on, man. Like, this is a perfect time to deal somebody like Aaron Rodgers. Every team not named the Kansas City Chiefs
or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, because think about this. Who's a perfect replacement for Tom Brady? Aaron freaking Rodgers. Come on, man. They are definitely they're definitely bidding for him.
One Pride 40 says, look, we don't play Washington. Right, we played them last season. Correct. Thank you. Also, let me go back to his comment because he got a good point. It's a strong one. Emmanuel, right here. Brian Emmanuel says, no one going to trade for a running back with messed up knees. It happens all the time, though. Because you didn't hear the media talk about it doesn't mean that they didn't try. Well, one thing that seemed to be happening with the Lions is a lot of people have been talking and a lot of stuff been coming out. So you could be right that they probably did try to trade him and got no bites. But I mean, they really open about moving Crosby. Why were they not open about moving Carryon? It just seemed weird to me. That's all.
And if I want to add to that point here, just a tad bit here, if you are trying to trade a guy, you always put up false news saying, "Oh, this team's interested. This team's interested." You know, from a quote leaked source. So that generates that buzz. You know.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of the things. For me, this is how I see the Lions going from worst to first. Ironically enough, it's a combination of it. First part of it is doing exactly what Kansas City do. Put speed on the outside, hit everything underneath, run the ball. Seems pretty simple, but that's exactly what it's doing. It's something that I see the Rams trying to line themselves up to do the same thing. Play everything underneath, put speed on the outside, run the ball. Real simple. The defensive side of the part is where we have the question mark. But this is why I think we go from worst to first. Because it is a question mark and there's no real film on them, I've already seen where Don Capers has come in and has turned defenses around. He's done it with a number of teams. I've also seen where there has been a plethora of options and how they like to send their pressure. And when I start to look at what they already discussed in terms of alignment, the first thing that I look at is you can essentially blitz from anywhere on the freaking field and the offense not know where it's coming from. I don't even attempt to try to understand or wonder about what other teams are doing because I know that they don't have any film on us, but we do have film. Now, if you are just joining us, okay, we are on the air having a little bit of fun with the guys from the Man Hour podcast show. We got Mr. Buck in the building, and we got Tori. Like I said, they talk a whole lot of sports. I'm pretty sure they talk bowling if they got time to do so. I
think that makes an appearance in our game that we call Liar Liar.
Yep. Does it? I know bowling got to be in there. I feel like if it's a game, you're talking about it. Like I feel like I listened to a few different episodes. I'm like, God, they talk about every damn sport. Like I'm real simple. I'm true and blue football, basketball secondary, then baseball third, and then it just keeps trickling down. But yeah, if it's not football, I got a bad addiction with. I'll follow football from here to the freaking sun. I enjoy it that much. So it's no shocker to me. But they are linked in the description. Please make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, show them some love, have fun with it. Go in there, tell Buck he's lost his damn mind. It's okay. He can handle it. Okay.
I can. I'm always here.
Trust me, he's not saying these things because he just wants you to have a shock factor. He just wants me to have a heart attack. That's all it is. He's not trying to kill you. He's trying to kill me. I'm pretty sure that's the plan. But yeah, I think that's all that's going to be needed for them to go from worst to first. Improved defense, a run game, and now you're not leaning on one player. The biggest problems in the Lions' history has always seemed to be us leaning on one player, whether it was Barry Sanders and Ndamukong Suh, Calvin Johnson, or Stafford. We did this too often, too much, where we just leaned on that one player and we never gave them a lot to work with outside of just leaning on them. Jared Goff is going to be asked to manage a game, similar to what they asked Troy Aikman to do, similar to what they asked Tom Brady to do. Yes, I said Tom Brady's a game manager because he is. That's exactly what he is.
Overrated.
So yeah, he's never been a deep throw. He's never been a deep ball thrower.
Yeah, he's
the only difference between him and Alex Smith is he can throw it 25 yards, where Alex Smith can only throw it 20.
And again, it's
Don't
a person.
my boy, man. Come on now.
Listen, Alex Smith, he still got that team to 11 wins, and it's one of the reasons why I've always looked at people like Patrick Mahomes, and I've tried to tell our fan base that don't get caught up in this quarterback hype. It's Aaron Rodgers over there whining like he ain't never had a receiving core. I'm like, that's bullshit. He's had a receiving core. Don't tell me he's had receiving cores. He's had receiving cores with tight ends. He's had running backs. He's had offensive lines. He's had defense. It's a shame that he only got one Super Bowl, but that's another argument for another day. Let me jump to the next question. Since I'm afraid to start this off with Buck, to be honest with you, but I'm doing it. I gotta go here. It just makes sense. He got me nervous. Okay, can Jared Goff be the long-term solution at quarterback for the Lions? Now, before you answer that, can you define to me what do you mean by long-term solution?
Long-term solution has got to be at least 6 years, right?
Okay. At least 6 years.
Has to be at least 6 years because he is 26, I think, 27. So that would give him into his mid 30s, right? So the way I'm going on this is like Jared Goff has to be the long-term solution, or the Detroit Lions are set back 6 to 7 years. Just because they've given up so much to get him. You guys gave up Matthew Stafford. Yes, I see people in the comments saying that they don't like Stafford because of his win-loss record, yada, yada, yada. But the truth is, Matthew Stafford was an Iron Man. I mean, he completed how many games for you guys with a broken leg, a broken neck, bruised ribs, a punctured lungs? I mean, he was your guys' Iron Man. You can always depend on him 100%. So Jared Goff has to be the solution. Otherwise, it would not surprise me if you guys have 3-14 seasons coming up, 4-13 seasons. He has to be the answer. There's no question in my mind.
Okay. All right. Listen, like I said, the key point to it is defining what's your definition of long term. Tori, again, we're talking long-term solution at the quarterback. Can Jared Goff be the long-term solution at quarterback? And before you answer it, define to me your definition of long-term. I know mine is going to be different, and people are going to say, oh, my God, that's not long-term. The hell it isn't. It's the NFL. So I'm just saying, define what your definition of long-term is and tell me, can he be the long-term solution for the Lions?
So I usually define it by in their case, a new head coach's tenure. So for me, long term would be 3 years because it's a brand new coach.
Bingo.
And you got 3 years. You got 3 years to turn this around. Anything else past that is a bonus. And I think that's where it's really nice that they got the extra first round pick when they traded Stafford. They're going to know after
last longer than 3 years, Tori. Come on, man.
What number is he on?
5.
Right. I'm in agreement with Tori.
You really want to talk about marriages here?
I'm just saying, listen, let's be honest. I just think that at the end of the day, I think you're right. I think it is 3 years. I think 3 years is it's the NFL. I've watched people like Andrew Luck, who should have probably been in the league well over 15 whatever years you could think of in your head. He should be in the league longer. But over time, you saw piece by piece where he got broken up year after year after year after year until he couldn't do it no more. So if you got anybody who is sustainable and successful in that 3 year stretch, that's a long-term improvement. And plus, we hold no risk. We can't be set back for a trade that essentially does not hurt us. His contract expires in 3 seasons. If he's not the guy, we got 2 firsts next year, 2 firsts a year after. You simply just draft your guy and you move on. You don't lose anything. There's no
100%.
real pressure.
This guy, the thing with Goff is a younger version of Stafford without the arm strength.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
What, like a pretty boy from California that doesn't like to get hit? Like that is not Stafford at all, man.
But Buck is in rare form today. I mean, I don't know, Tori. I gotta be honest. I didn't expect to agree with Tori this much, but damn it, it's happening. It is really happening. Go ahead, Tori. Go ahead, bro. I'm listening.
So yeah, I'm with Goff. It's like I said, he's the same thing. I think he's actually a better game manager than what Stafford is. He's not going to throw as many interceptions because he is a little bit more cerebral in his approach to the game, and I think that's what Dan Campbell really wants. Dan Campbell wanted the guy that was in the Drew Brees mold, and that's what he got when he traded for Goff. I'm not saying that he's the next Drew Brees. Let's get that out of the way right now. But he got a quarterback.
That's what I heard.
But he got a quarterback that can play a similar style where he's going to try to minimize the mistakes. He's little more than a game manager. And like I said, with Stafford, you got the big throws. You're not going to get that with Goff.
Right. And you don't need it. You don't need it. I've always told people that if you just look at the winning formula, a lot of teams follow a lot of the same winning formulas. And you look at the guys who got the big arms that they're trying to throw the ball down the field, they're struggling. I watched Patrick Mahomes for 2 Super Bowls, essentially do everything in his power to give them away. One of them he gave away. The other one, he got a saving grace because the other team was just as stupid. And so I think that the idea of this constant pass because he has the big arm is stupid. Run a damn ball. The teams who are winning are running the ball and playing defense. It's been that way for years. You can go back through history and see it. It's a reason why a lot of people talk about the quarterbacks and how great they are. But when it comes to the running backs, the Jim Browns, the Barry Sanders, the Emmitt Smiths, the Walter Paytons, we don't forget them people because they were that big of an addition to those offenses. I'm with you, Tori. 3 years is long term, and I think he can be that. I'm not asking him to come in here and reinvent the wheel. I'm asking him not to lose the game. Dak Prescott has had success in this same process of not trying to lose the game, but just managing it, and a host of other quarterbacks have as well. Now, Edward says Mickelson 50, Brady 43, Goff has got another 15 years. I don't know if I want to put that kind of pressure on him because I think these are anomalies. This is not like the norm. Tom Brady is surviving this long because everybody swear he's taking care of his body. No, he's not. He's not taking
care of his body.
Yeah, he's not taking right, and he's not taking as many hits because he's throwing the ball short and handing it off. So yeah, you can have a long life. In fact, if you go through history and look at the quarterbacks, look at each quarterback who stayed in the league a long time, I guarantee you they had a run game and threw the ball short. You know, to me, the quarterback thing is overblown and overrated in my opinion because
I mean, look at 2001. Look at the Ravens. They won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer.
I keep telling people this.
The reason that they won the Super Bowl was one, that defense was a top 5 defense all time.
Number 1,
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
Jamal Lewis was a beast that year. They won it in spite of Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer just did enough to not screw anything up.
And the same thing happened with Dallas. I remember when Dallas decided to try to play this game with Emmitt Smith, talking about we're not going to pay you, and he sat out. They to get a win, they prayed for it. And they didn't get it until he got paid. And when he got paid, they were meant to run the ball, and they won. And you go through, like you said, Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson. I like the Buccaneers, too. I'm a Bucs fan. Rich Gannon, Rex Grossman. How in the hell does Rex Grossman get to a Super Bowl? Like, are we serious with this?
And they still did. They really did. They really didn't have a great running back that year either.
But they ran the ball.
But they did.
They ran the ball.
Was it Forte? Was Forte there then?
I think it was. I think it was
Forte.
I think it was Forte in the backup. I think it was Benson, Cedric Benson. I think it was.
Could have been, yeah.
But
rest in peace, Cedric.
You know, did Cedric Benson die?
Yeah, he died in a motorcycle accident like
Oh,
2 or 3
snap.
years ago.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I mean, because
he
he finished his career with the Packers, and I just remember seeing it across because the Packers put something on immediately after he died.
Okay, I didn't realize that. This comes from Detroit fan man. He says long term in the NFL is a high school diploma, 4 seasons, 1 to develop, then 3 to make a run, and then the 3rd should be just a regular term, but not longer than 2 in turn. So 1 just a mistake. Okay, I get it. This comes from Hatter House. He changed his picture. I like it. He says, we've never had a top 15 run game since Barry retired. Once we get that, we'll be a playoff team. It makes sense to me.
I'll tell you what, you got the best damn second running back in the league, because I was really sad to see Jamal go, but when they re-signed Aaron Jones, I was like, well, there goes Jamal. Jamal is one of my favorite players. The guy will bring in a positive attitude. He will be a positive influence on the team. He always smiles, and the guy plays damn hard every snap he's in there.
See, the thing with me is when I look at Jamal Williams is, and I got to be honest, I'm just like, okay, I just like the fact that it's a compliment to Swift. To have a 1-2 punch just gives me more proof that we plan on running the ball. And so I think it was the show I did Friday with Jim Live where we was talking about the running game, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're not really that high on Jamal Williams." I said, "I don't have to be. I know that he can get me 4 yards, and that's all that matters. I'm not big on this superstar name stuff and all that don't mean nothing to me. I've been watching enough football to know that teams don't win on talent alone. If that's the case, Green Bay, the Cardinals, and all them other teams will have $100 billion Super Bowls because they have a lot of talent. It's not just enough to have that. You need coaching. You need there to be cohesiveness amongst the team. And I don't see those things, and then that's where you see teams who fail. It's a reason why the Bills didn't go far. They decided to turn their running game from the quarterback. That's not going to work. So let me ask you fellas this, because like I said, I want to have fun with it. And then we get into some questions from the chat. Let me ask you, starting off with you, Tori. What do you think of the Detroit.Alliance coaching staff in terms of what they've done so far?
I like what they've done, and kind of back to what we were just talking about the talent levels and stuff like that. And I'm going to agree with you about the non-superstar stuff. When you are trying to change a culture, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a couple-year process. One, it's like I said, I really like Dan Campbell as a hire. I love the fire that he brings. 2, the players they brought in. And it's like you said, they're not superstars, but every single one of them has a great work ethic, and they all have a great attitude. When you want to start changing the culture of your team, it starts with that attitude. And that's the one thing I really like that Detroit did. And that's why I think in a couple of years, we're going to be talking about Detroit as a perennial playoff team, is because they brought in all the right people right now to A, be veteran leadership, B, to turn that culture around.
So, Tori, you are telling me that assistant head coach for the New Orleans Saints is going to turn the culture around for the Detroit Lions? What are they going to put like some cash on some heads? Like is the whole line on the sideline going to shake up the energy at practice? Come on, man! Like this is a player thing, man. Like the players have to buy into the whole system, and like all of these players that you are mentioning, they're all new. So are they really going to buy into a brand new system on a brand new team? I don't think so.
See, again, that's where I give you your opportunity, Tori, to tell me. I mean, so you're telling me you don't like what the Lions coaching staff have done so far this offseason?
No, I love what they've done. Buck's the one that's dogging on it.
Okay,
I have absolutely loved what they've done.
Buck, you're not buying with the line. You're not buying into what the Lions coaching staff has done this offseason.
What have they done besides bringing Jared Goff and put in a pet line on the sidelines?
Well, first of all, we ain't got our pet lion yet, but we working on it, damn it. And when we get it, you're going to be the first one to meet it, because I know you want to pet the lion. So don't act like you don't want to. Okay, so now let's get to it. But
are we going to hang over it?
I mean, right. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Just show up, see what happens. See if it's in the hotel room hanging out with us.
Live on Man Hour.
No face tattoos, But listen, let's be honest. You said, what have they done besides brought in Jared Goff? I'm going to show you why I love what this coaching staff has done and why it starts with Dan Campbell. And really from the top all the way down. Dan Campbell came in and he sounded the alarm. He let it be known what his standards is, and they got everybody to talking. He did it through the media. Now I'm noticing the trend. I've seen Antoine Randall giving praise to Tyrell Williams and Rashard Perryman, bigging them up in there. I'm seeing the linebackers coach talk about Jelani Tavai, building them up through the media, getting their confidence up, letting them know we believe in you. We want everything from you and then some. I'm watching the offensive line coach, who I'm happy as hell we didn't lose this offseason, turn around and say Big V can do things that nobody else can do in this league, and he's hyping him up and getting his confidence up. If you pay close attention to it, this coaching staff, every aspect, even from the defensive coordinator, even to the linebacking coach, the D-line coach, they have all targeted players who have somewhat been tossed under the rug, cast aside, call trash or a bust, and they have found ways in the media to send a message to them that, yes, these people are awesome. They're great. Just recently, I was under the belief that Deshaun Hand is not going to make this team. Still don't think he's going to make this team, but in the meantime, they're going to do enough to get him motivated to see if he wants to be on his team. That is what the power of this coaching staff has done. They are strategically making coaching moves through the media, in person, in dreams, and when they're awake. That is how you build up culture. That is how you get people to buy in. And to be honest with you, the fact that they can have music now in the locker room was something that they could not do under Patricia is a first step. I never understood that. The other part of it is this.
That's the Patriot way.
The Patriot way.
Belichick didn't know what music was, probably.
It's just right. Like, what the hell? Like, oh, God forbid you guys decide to do something of intelligence and want to be different. So it's those little things that I look at, and I'm telling you, it is infectious. It is something that's different. What they are doing, I'm telling you, it's an onslaught of what it is. It don't take 3 years to build a culture. It takes one good season and enough people to speak your name. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. It's and I hate to use this reference because it sucks, but this happens too often. It's a reason why in most cases, when people are in relations, that's the word I'm going to use, not the three letters that starts with an S and ends with an X, but in relations, that the girl sometimes will just hype the guy up because she wants the best performance. Well, damn it, it's the same thing in football. You hype them up, tell the media that they're great, and they'll perform. And I think that you're overlooking that when you say, what have they done?
So first things first, I had the Lions going 7-10. And
True.
the more I hear what you're saying here, I'm almost on this Brandon Combs train here, and they might go 3-14. If a coach has to hype up a professional athlete to play a game that he is getting paid millions of dollars to play, something is wrong between the ears. If you have to have your coach or your fan base or the media hype you up to play good, you are in the wrong freaking sport now.
Well, that's not true, and I can make the argument for even when you go to a job, right? So all of us are in the workforce, right? Unless you're an entrepreneur, please tell me so. But all of us are in the workforce.
We all are, man.
Exactly, right? And so you've had jobs where you've walked in there and you was like, F this job. Like you just like you didn't like the supervisors, you didn't like none of the people that was the higher ups. You hated the job. You didn't like what they were doing. But we've all had those jobs where we love the supervisor. We didn't have a problem showing up to work. And if they asked you to cover a shift, you didn't even give a shit. It didn't matter. There are people right now who are doctors who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars. There are surgeons who makes millions of dollars and all types of things, and they love their job. There are people who does this all the time. It's not about somebody having to build them up when you're been in the NFL. It's about somebody being able to say, I believe in you. Because in this thing called sports, particularly football and basketball, that's essentially what gets you going. A lot of the times it's the hype. Like when people was hyping up Greedy Williams and they was hyping up other players saying that they're going to be great. The Jamarcus Russells of the world is going to be a phenomenal killer and stuff. And it don't pan out. It's like, okay, what went wrong? Coaching job is to be a motivator, and it is to manage the games and do all things through it. When Patricia was here, he destroyed that culture. He's telling players to stop sucking on other players' private parts. He's telling players that they're trash and he's going to end their career. And he created a toxic environment that nobody wanted to play in. And therefore, the reason for them to buy in was, no, I don't want to buy into your bull because it's trash. So what does he do? He goes out and get every player he can from New England to try to prove the point. And at some point, they ass stopped buying into it. Go and tell me Deron Hartman bought in. The only reason Tavon Wilson bought in was because nobody else would start him anywhere else. He started here over Glover Quin. So, yeah, I don't think it needs to be motivated. I think it's just the reality that some of these teams really want and are looking to build their players up. It happens all the time with quarterbacks. Hell, even Patrick Mahomes did this, and he's great that, and Patrick Mahomes did that. And I've seen games where I'm like, Patrick Mahomes didn't do shit. What are we talking about?
Right. So let me talk to you as a player that played for under a coach just like Matt Patricia. Mr. Bill Snyder himself, I played underneath him for a season and a half.
Okay.
And I can tell you, this guy did the same exact thing. He drug you through the mud. He told you you suck, you aren't worth it. Why are you even here, etc. But that was his type of motivation to basically get you to prove to him or to prove to your teammates that you, quote, belong here. So there are coaches out there, there are mentors out there that they try to beat you down so you, build yourself back up and become great. That is what Matt Patricia was trying to do here in Detroit. It is just a simple fact is that some of the players are weak-minded individuals.
Well, that's not fair.
You can't say that because everybody gets motivated differently. Some guys you can get in their face and scream and yell, and that's what motivates them.
Facts.
Other guys you gotta coddle them a little bit, and you gotta keep pumping them up. It's not a one size fits all type thing.
Exactly.
Different personalities require different motivators, and that's what you can't. That's the kind of coach you need.
Tell me I'm right.
Listen, I thought you were going to tell me,
ask you to tell you you're pretty.
Listen, I'm just saying, I look at it like this. What you're saying is not fair because you got to look at it. What Patricia tried to do was be somebody he's not. He's not Bill Belichick. He didn't win any defense. His defense actually sucked the year that he called himself being the defensive genius. He's not that guy. If he had came in and did what Mike Vrabel did and be your own person, the same thing Brian Flores has did, and be your own person, you'll get a better response. You came in trying to be somebody who has hardware. Now, to show you that this works the same way in life, because I believe that truth is universal. So, if, for example, if I were to tell you I have a surgery that you can take that can make you lose weight, you say to you, well, where's the proof? If I can show you all these people and they say, oh, it hurt like hell, but I lost the weight, some people is willing to take that risk. But if I have a person who comes up and says, hey, I'm a first-year surgeon, I just only did one surgery, but I can do your surgery for cheap, half the cost. You're going to be concerned and you're going to say to yourself, why in the hell would I trust you? You don't have the experience. You don't have the backing to do it. He never had the backing to come in here and act like he was Bill Belichick. He had done nothing. He was not somebody who should even been given a chance. If he was so good at what he was doing and players was just so soft, he made all these people get the hell on. Quandre Diggs, he said Quandre Diggs couldn't play no more, and Quandre Diggs proceeded to go over to Seattle and get 5 interceptions in the same freaking season. Right? He says he talks about he got rid of Devin Kennard. Everybody who was a captain or who had a voice, he got rid of him. Ashawn Robinson, obviously not the best player in the world, but he told him I was going to end your career, got rid of him. Snacks Harrison came in here and changed the defense on a lot of different ways. He pissed him off. You pissed off. You alienated all your best players so you can bring in guys from a team that can say, oh, we trust this guy. We got people coming in here like Francisco Jean talking about, yeah, he's a great coordinator because, yeah, he going to let your ass play. Nobody else is going to let you play. Yeah, if you let me play, you great too. I'm trying to get this money. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's fair to say that they were weak-minded because that's not a fair assessment to put on them and say that, oh, it's on the players. They got to be tough. Back in the day, you go through Bill Parcells was tough on his players, but he was freaking fair, and he had the hardware to prove it.
Right.
What did Patricia have to prove?
You got a point there.
Belichick got me rings. That's it.
Right. I mean, he had nothing to support his reasoning to act like the ass that he was. He was doing, like, he even went off on a reporter for quote unquote slouching in his chair. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's just weird because you don't control that person by any means.
Right. Yeah. And just look at it from this. And this right here comes from C. Gerald. He says, no grown man is letting you talk to him the way Patricia was talking. Not a lot are going to let Belichick talk to them that way anyway. It's a reason why a lot of the players who was there wanted out. But the more people go there because they assume that by going to New England, I'm going to win. So if I got to put up with a little shit to win, I don't care. Now, when they not winning, you saw what happened. The mutiny started. Everybody started saying it's because of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick having to ask questions he never had to answer before. So it happens. But at some point in time, Matt Patricia should have never been a head coach in this league. He was never qualified for it. And it showed from the very first game he had against the Jets, which is why I was screaming fire his ass after one season.
The thing with Patricia is he's kind of got the Jim Harbaugh effect. He is not a good NFL coach. The thing is, he belongs in the college game. If you want to be a dictator like that, go coach in the college game where your roster's constantly turning over,
right,
year in and year out. That can work in the college game. I mean, it hasn't worked out so well for Harbaugh at Michigan, but still, the way he does things, if you're that regimented, that's the college game. That's the game you need to play because at that point you are now developing boys into men, and a lot of times you do need to be a little more rigid and a little stricter on them. So he's honestly probably the kind of cloth he is. He's probably better suited to go coach in college.
One Pride 40 says it was Ricky James Francois. Whoever his damn name was, he wouldn't have been a starter nowhere else. He was a starter here. To this day.
He was a starter in Green Bay for like a year.
I mean, but that was due to some he had came from at that time, I think it was Miami.
Indianapolis.
It was one of them teams he had came from, and he had a pretty good season over there with them, so they decided to give him a shot. And like always, he fizzled out. Like a coach shaking up and to oblivion is disgusting. And so it is what it is. I'm unapologetic about pointing out the truth about things, and that's why I stay objective. Now, people, this is your time. This is your time to ask us any questions you want. Feel free to question my sanity or definitely Bucks. Either way it go, it's time for it. So put your questions in the chat. We'll go through and hit on those. Also, if you are not familiar with what we are doing right now, we are talking to the Man Hour people. They are already doing it. This is their channel. Like I said, it's the stuff they're talking about. I'm impressed. They talk about damn near every damn thing. As you can see here, they're at 1.66. Wow, my son is really in the back having fun. Wow, he's really having fun. So I'm gonna tell you. So I bought him. This is what happened. I bought him one of those damn tickle me ammo things, or whatever you want to call it. And he finds this thing the most entertaining thing ever. And every time he hugs it or anything, and it vibrates, he goes nuts. I don't know why his brother gave him this damn toy. I completely removed this from him. But you know what? He's earned it. He duped his big brother into giving it to him, and so he's winning right now. But if you can see right here, look, baseball. Look at this. And listen, they're going to give you their face. They're not hiding behind cameras. I'm not hiding either. You know, work is my thing. But you're going to get your baseball talk. You're going to get football talk. There's basketball. I mean, look at this. Was I wrong? Yes, you're wrong, Aaron Rodgers. Damn it, the question was answered before I even got there, but it's still fun and entertaining to watch. So please check them out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As you can see, why is my bell not? I hate how YouTube does this. You can hit the bell 100 damn times, and it will still not send you a notification, or it will uncheck itself. What is going on? Okay,
YouTube tries to censor us 9 times out of 10. So.
Oh, that's what it is. They don't like you. Got it. Yeah, they some assholes. This is really terrible on their part. But again, this is what we're doing, man. We're on here with the Man Hour Sports Podcast, man. So you got to make sure you give them some love and show them this. Let me check out what questions we have in the chat. Jesus, give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can get.
Hey, my little man luckily still has his clothes on. but give him about 10 minutes, guys. He is going to have a diaperless party over here.
Oh, you want to hear some fun story? No bull, right? So I got 2 boys, and so my oldest boy, when I first discovered it was potty time, I woke up and I heard him in there, and he was just a giggling. So I'm like, oh, this is great. Everything in his room is white, like it's white everything. So I walk in there, and this is the most horrifying scene I've ever seen. If you ever seen, I think the movie is something about Mary. Oh, no, it's Dumb and Dumber. Remember when Bob Saget come in? He goes, "There's shit everywhere. He's got shit on the walls." And I walked in the crib covered in shit. It's shit on the floor. It's shit on the. He literally just ravaged this whole entire thing. And I literally just sat there and cried. I was like, I can't believe this. Like, I have to clean up all of this poop. It's poop everywhere. It's on his face, and the entire time he is smiling like it is the best mud fight he's ever had in life. Oh. It's impressive. It is 100% impressive. Now, my youngest one is more so like he's just super silly. Every little sound makes him want to laugh and go crazy. But yeah, I know what you mean about that damn diapers. It is the fear of all fears to wake up and discover the massacre known as the poop. Terrible. Terrible.
That's Buck's reality daily. So I had cancer a long time ago, so I wasn't able to have kids. And I tell Buck that I'm like, I'm really glad I had cancer.
We're praising cancer. Well, first of all, I'm happy you beat it. I'm happy you beat it and you rocking with us. So that in and of itself is awesome. So kudos to you for being a fighter and a survivor on every level there. But man. Yeah, the kids, man, it's crazy. He said, look, Kool-Aid and Cornbread said, I had a similar experience in the pack and play. I wish it was that small. I wish it was that small. I mean,
at least that was contained.
It was contained, man. This was a full-fledged, like, I had to tiptoe in. It was just terrible. It was terrible. And after he did all of that, he just sat there and laughed as I cleaned it all up. I gave him a bath, and he still thought this was funny. Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the things, man. Parenthood, man. You cannot get no better. All right, let me see. Let's see what we got for questions. Make sure I ain't miss nobody. I'm gonna scroll back up a little bit. See, Patriots are like working at the auto plant. The only thing keeps management teeth in their mouth is the money they pay. Just to do so. I worked at Chrysler all the bit of 1 week and literally had to quit because I was trying, like you said, keep their teeth in their mouth. It's ridiculous. If Buck's dear mother and Andy Dalton were hanging out of a cliff, he would only say one. Buck, who would you say? Wow.
Well, first things first is I am a ginger and my mom is not. So if you guys know, gingers are an expiring, kind of culture here. So. Man, that is a tough one, but man.
What?
Man, no. Mama every day, man. Mama Buck all day, every day.
He said that's a tough one. What? All right, let's see. The NFL is a league full of egos. You think you're going to get what you want from players being a dingbat like Matt Pete? It's not happening. Luke, get your kids. As David Chappelle say, better not bring your kids. Let's see.
I love
if the Lions lose this year, are you still going to support them? I am. I've watched them for over 50 years. Yes, I support all my teams, win, lose, or draw. If you follow me long enough, I don't even believe in tanking. I hate the word tanking. It doesn't work in the NFL. There's no reason for you to even begin that thing. Now, if you think that it works in the NBA, cool, but I'm never rooting for my team to lose. I want every win. Obviously we got a Packer fan, a Chiefs fan who does still root for the Lions. And Buck, I know y'all can't believe it with some of the things he said, but he's team ginger, which is probably why he's voting for the red rifle as hard as he is. But yeah, I mean, do you guys think like for you, and I know that you yourself, Tori, has said that you have rooted for him too. But like, do you think if they're losing this year, you're done rooting for him? Because to me, if the bar is set low, I don't see why you would stop rooting for him. So, like they meet expectations.
We've sold out every home game since like 1972. And if for a lot of people may not have been alive in the 80s, the Packers were awful
Don't remind me
in the 70s and 80s.
Don't remind
They were the perennial worst team for about 20 years. It'd be one of those we have a lucky year and make the playoffs like one time in that 20-year stretch. So, yeah, I'm still going to support my team. I'm going to support my team every single time. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to be there. I'm still going to go to the game. I'm going to support my team. So, absolutely.
It's funny. I'll never forget this. I remember when the Packers drafted, I called him the fake wrestling man, right? And then the Lions right after took Barry. And then they had that first game, and it was like, oh, you effed up. Yeah, you got that one wrong. And I remember I got a friend who's a Packer fan, and he says, he was right there, man. Barry was right there. I was like,
Barry was right there. Dion was right there. Derek was right there.
They took the fake wrestling man. I thought was it Bosworth was his name? I think it was. I remember looking at him and going, y'all are just looking at the physique like he's Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody.
But the thing is, I don't care what team had that number 2 pick. They were taking Tony Mandarich that year because of the hype. Because at that point, steroids weren't illegal.
Nah. And
at the college level, they had just become illegal at the NFL level. So all of a sudden now he was going to get tested. So I don't know what he thought. He's just going to stop doing steroids and just work out harder and not lose all that muscle mass.
It happens. This comes from Matthew Stafford's burner account. He started off with you, Buck. Which position group do you think improved the most, and which do you think regressed the most on the Lions?
Oh, on the Lions. I'm going to say the offensive line as a whole grew the best because, like the draft, you guys nailed the draft this year and probably getting the steal of the draft. Let's just be flat out honest. And the position that regressed the most, I'm going to have to go with wide receiver core because you guys lost 2 big keys to that wide receiver core, and really all you added was speed. So the receiver core definitely regressed the most.
All right, what say you, Tori? You give one that improved the most and one that regressed the most.
Buck had to go and steal both of my answers on that one. What the hell? I'm like, yeah,
great minds think alike, Tori.
Well, and it's true because that left side of that Lions line was set. You got Ragnow, you got Decker, the guard's name,
Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson. Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't think of his name right then and there. But then now you're set at right tackle with Sewell. So whoever you plug and play at right guard is clear. I don't know. You can pick up almost anybody. You got Big V. Yeah. So there again, that line now is going to probably end up being a top 5 offensive line in this league, which again is going to give Goff a little bit more time. So as far as I can't say wide receivers because I can't follow Buck. So I'm going to go with regress. I'm going to go with the quarterback position. As much as I like Goff, you lost a lot of arm strength back there. You lost a lot of downfield balls. The only place you got better, you got somebody that's not going to make as many mistakes, I don't think.
Okay, yeah. For me, the most improved position group, and I know people are going to say I'm batshit crazy, is the defensive line. It is grossly improved. And the group that I think regressed the most is our special teams, like our kicker. I know Matt Prater is having some ups and downs, but I'm not so high on Bullock. But he's going to have to make me a believer because I think their attitude was, can he kick an extra point? We're not looking for him to make 50-yard field goals.
I was going to say, he's got a booming leg that'll he will be kicking them from quite a distance at Ford Field.
Yeah,
but Prater could do the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. And but I just with Bullock, I just don't know if it's been as consistent as Prater was. I feel like Prater started losing the step, and it's becoming a bit of a challenge. So that's how I would do it. C. Gerald says, as long as you can hear them crying, they're okay. It's when they get quiet. Facts. Oh my God. If they were to get too quiet, I would have stopped the show because something is not right. And I have a lot of expensive stuff that I have already had to replace because they have found a way to destroy it. I was fortunate to find a PS5. I locked that thing up because I don't I can't find another one as easy as it was to get it. So, hey, what can I say? One Prowl 40 says, the man hour. What you guys think of the Lions picking Penny Sewell?
I think across the board, we were all really high on the pick. We all loved the pick. And we all think that they probably got the best player in the draft in him. We were all kind of well, okay, if Cincinnati's going to take him, is Miami going to take him? Cincinnati's traded Fisher, and they didn't take him. We're he doesn't get past the Lions. There's no way he gets past the Lions.
Okay, what say you, Buck?
Yeah, I mean, this was hands down the steal of the draft, just because. I mean, he quote fell so far down, and many people saw him going second or third overall, and he fell. And this is a steal. I mean, you guys got the best player in the draft. It's simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kobe Live 16. Shout out to you. He says, "Why was Matt Patricia so concentrated on pad level?" Okay, so as a person who plays defense, the best way I can equate it to is leverage. So whenever I played linebacker, whenever I would go against a lineman, most of the linemen towered me. I mean, they were 6'6", 6'7". I'm a cool 5'11", so it's not like I'm, I'm not the tallest guy, but what I realized is I can beat all of them because I had leverage. And so when your pad levels are high, it's easy for me to control you. When your pad levels are low, it's harder for me to control you. And now you are in the advantage point. So the best way I can explain it to you is look at sumo wrestlers. You see some of the sumo wrestlers and they be huge, but it'd be a little small guy over there bodying them because they have better leverage. And so when you have better leverage, you have a better center of gravity. It is more important for you at that point to have that center of gravity to control the person in front of you. If you look at, say, a person and say at running back and they're short and they're running, when they juke, they drop their center of gravity. It makes it harder on the taller guy to break down and tackle them because they got to get so much lower to not miss. And 9 times out of 10, they generally miss because they are not as low as that guy to the center of the ground. And that's why you see him concentrating so much on pad level. That, and he was probably hungry that day, and he's not himself when he's hungry.
Low man always wins.
That's the facts. So there's actually Bengal fans that actually think we are taking a L to them. Did you die of laughter? Yeah, if a Bengal fan think we're losing to them, then you tell me how. We're at home. And it's funny because I'm going to talk this out here because this is going to be another talking point for me tomorrow. I really think week 1, because everything is getting ready to open back up, I'm taking all of the home teams to win. And I'm doing this by virtue of saying, I know what our stadium is going to be like. You mean to tell me we can have a full stadium, opening week of football, after we've been in the house for, almost 2 years, it feel like? And you watching football straight from TV, and now you can tell me I can come in there unrestricted, drink, yeah, good luck to that one. Good luck with that one. It's the atmosphere is going to be nuts. It just is. Would you rather have the 1996 Bucks defense or the 1999 Ravens defense? Oh, this is an easy one. What the hell? The Ravens.
Yeah, give me that Ravens. Give me that Ravens defense.
What the hell? I think they gave up 10 points average,
9.8 points per game.
This is
second
nuts.
Most average in the NFL history.
It's no way possible. You can literally kick 4 field goals and win most games, giving up 9 to 10 points. That's nuts. Hands down, Buck. What do you think? Are you taking the 96 Bucks defense or the 1999 Ravens? And I think I think there was more to 2000 Ravens, and I think that Bucks team he probably thinking of, because the 96 Bucks was okay, but the 2004 I want to say Bucks was better. Yeah, that's where they had Greg Spires, Simeon Rice. You obviously had the linebacker core. You had Warren Sapp.
Derek Brooks,
Brooks,
Rondé Barber.
Yeah, so
John Lynch too, and Reggie Upshaw. I mean, they had a lot of names out there, but man, that Ravens defense was dominant. It is hard to dominate a NFL team 17 weeks in a season, or 16 for 16 games, and then do it through the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I mean, that Ravens defense was something else.
Yeah, I don't even know how long it'll be before we get to see that again.
Never.
That's how rare it was.
Never.
One Proud 40 says, do you guys think the Bengals will regret passing on Sewell? Okay, Buck, what do you think?
I am 100% yes on this 100% because the reason Joe Burrows got hurt because the offensive line literally got shoved back into him and blew out his knee, right? That offensive line was horrible last season. However, I think the reason why they drafted a receiver this year is, yes, I've heard the reports. I've seen the reports saying that Joe will be ready for like week 1. I bet you Joe Burrows does not play this season. That's why they drafted the best player in their eyes on the board at that particular time, and they're going to address offensive line next year.
Wow, that's a damn bold man. Damn, Buck out here giving out some hard, bold takes out here. Unexpected. Tori, what do you think? Do you think the Bengals will regret it?
In the short term, no. In the long term, yes. Just because I have a feeling that Sewell's going to he's one of those guys that's going to be a 10 to 15 years star in this league. He's going to be a perennial Pro Bowl type of guy. So, but in the short term, I don't think they will, because I think the Bengals brought in Jamar Chase, I think, as a security blanket for Joe Burrows since they were teammates. So it's more
Still
of
need
a
3 seconds to throw, though. Come on, man.
Not if you're doing the 1, 2, 3, get it out of your hand, you know.
Yep, that's what the Eagles
1, 2.
did.
Oh, there's a guy in my lap because my left tackle just got bull rushed right into my lap. Come on, no chance over there.
You say, Buck is not a believer. He's like, no, I'm not buying what you're saying, Tori. No, it's not happening.
It's not.
Listen, I just look at it and I say this. To me, it's too early to say, because I think every pick can be a bust or not be. I think if there was ever a chance for there to be a higher opportunity of him not being a bust, it was us taking Sewell. However, I will say this. As a person who has watched Matthew Stafford come to a team that was 0-16 and get hurt year in and year out, he basically became the bionic man because he had all these different surgeries to repair stuff upon repairing stuff, and it's because he constantly was in the top 5 most sacked quarterback. Joe Burrow's in for a shitty situation, and I think that the Bengals will regret it, because they're going to look at it, and their answer to it was Riley Reef. I've seen enough of Riley Reef to know that that's not the answer. He wasn't the answer for Detroit, wasn't the answer in Minnesota, and now he's over there trying to give his best impression to the Bengals. They're going to look up and realize that this is a mistake. And I just think, it's hard to answer it for real, but if I was forced gun to the head, yes, it's a mistake.
Well, let me ask you this: like, how is it hard to answer? How many offensive linemen have you seen basically just not make it in the NFL? They're very few and far between.
Especially
right?
in the first,
Yeah.
especially at the tackle position. But I think the problem with the Bengals is even if you had Sewell, did they have enough offensive linemen on that team to make a difference? I'm gonna probably say no. I'm still gonna say no. But most pressure comes from the outside, and that's a huge step. If you telling me I can keep the middle of the pocket clean, and if you don't believe me, go and ask Aaron Rodgers when his tackles went down, and the same with Patrick Mahomes, because the pressure comes from the outside, and they were forced to step into tackles and try to run for their life. Yeah, it's gonna be different. I just look at it and I say, was Sewell enough to change their fortunes? And chances is he probably wasn't. He probably would have been a better pick long term, but he wasn't enough to change their fortunes. That's just me.
I hear you.
All right. Brandon Combs says, I got a question. What back in Tory Diller's name in the number? What?
What's Buck and Tory Dealer's name?
So
Mr. Brandon BC Combs.
Brandon's a Bears fan. He can't spell.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Our dealer is Nana, and she makes the best French toast ever.
Oh, I do like French toast.
Inside joke over there on the Man Hour. So if you guys are curious, go ahead and check us out.
Definitely check them out, man. Like I said, I got it up on the screen so you can know where to go. It is linked in the description. Let me refresh that to see if we did better, because I know we can do better, and I know if at all nothing else, you can get a good laugh from Buck, because apparently he came today on some good, probably some Tennessee whiskey with what he's doing. So let's get those up and get some subscribers up in the building for him and get that moving on up. like I said, you're going to get your fix of everything. So let me go down here. Let me see what we got right here. We definitely draft another receiver in 2022. Maybe. I mean, depends on what happens. I usually give my predictions once we get to December. December lets me know where we're heading. Let me see. Nah, but obviously they are rookies, but the D-line could end up being a big improvement. I think it is a big improvement, to be honest with you. It is what it is. I really am buying into it. I'm laughing if we lose to Trey Lance. Why? You think they're winning because of Trey Lance? No. Let's be honest. If we lose to the 49ers, it will not be because of Trey Lance. It will be because they have a defense that still overpowered us. Trey Lance ain't moving no damn needles.
You guys understand that the 49ers are a Super Bowl bound team if they are healthy. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl with the best defense and a mediocre offense at best, and they got
that was how many years ago?
Better. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Then, but then if you flash back to last year, they had at one point they had 18 starters on the disabled list.
That's true. That's true. But let's go through the facts now. 2 years ago you were younger, right?
Right.
Okay, 2 years ago you probably was smaller. Right?
No, I'm getting pretty big.
I'm just saying, but 2 years ago you probably was smaller at the point. Right. Okay. Now, 2 years ago they had a defensive coordinator who's now a head coach of the Jets, right?
Right. Facts.
So they've got some things that are missing that are key components to that success. 2 years ago they had at least 3 to 4 running backs. Now I know they added Trey Sermon. I know they got some other running backs in the building, but I'm not buying the hype. We're not losing to the 49ers because of Trey Lance, because one, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start. I really believe that. But two,
I don't think Trey Lance sees the field this year unless Garoppolo gets hurt. Which I mean, you might as well flip
over him.
It's still possible.
Yeah. I would start probably Rosen. Let him sit and learn. Like we've seen it. Letting the quarterback sit and learn is actually good for their development.
It is what it is. Rich Law says my PS5 is guarded by 2 armed security guards. Facts. I got to come up with something. These kids would destroy the world if they could. East Your Thuggin says, can Penny Sewell be as bad as Tony Mandrick? Okay, I hope not.
The only other lineman that was drafted in the first round that high that comes close to being as bad as Tony Mandridge was Robert Gallery from the Raiders.
Yeah.
And Robert Gallery was still a better lineman than Tony Mandridge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that being the case. One, he never started out on the steroid train, which is it's funny we talking about that. Let me fast forward. So I have this take on Lawrence Taylor. I love me some Lawrence Taylor, but I just got to be honest. Am I the only one that happened to just be, a slight bit like, hey, he's getting a little bit too much hype because he was on crack? Am I the only one who believes that? Like literally, guy plays with a dislocated shoulder, is still tackling people full. That's crackhead tendency. Am I alone in that?
No, because he said it himself. There was a lot of games he was on coke during the game.
Thank you. See, I'm not making this stuff up. That guy was high as hell. You could have had him jump out of a building that had 50 stories with a 107-inch TV. He would have landed like fucking Superman and ran. I promise you, he was high. It's the only way he can get through that. Just putting it out there.
So I don't know if you remember, there was a TV show. And it was a football show. It was way before Ballers. It used to be on HBO, but Lawrence Taylor was on it. And he pretty much played himself. He was a drugged out linebacker on cocaine. I remember he just took a saw and cut a limo in half or some crap like that. It's just weird. I can't remember the name of the football show, but it was like Ballers, but before Ballers was Ballers.
and I like Ballers. I thought that was a good show. They toned it down. It started out hot and they toned it down, but hey, whatever. Buffed Up says Bengals have a better running back, wide receivers, quarterback, and defense. And he says that we are going to lose to them. Do you guys agree that the Lions lose to the Bengals?
No.
No. Yeah, I don't see it.
It's at Ford Field.
Right.
The Bengals are about 2 years away from being anybody. The
Joe
Lions
Mixon may be hurt.
Yeah.
He will be hurt.
They got no Gio Bernard anymore, so
I just, and they got better receivers. Okay, they can have better receivers, but my chief fan to tell you, you can have all the receivers you want in the world. It don't mean that when your quarterback is running for his life on his back.
Right. I bet you the Eagles have a better chance of coming into Ford Field and playing the Lions if they played over the Cincinnati Bengals. And Eagles are going 2-14 this year, or 2-15 this year.
Oh, this is a good one, Tori. Does Green Bay regret losing Tim Boyle?
Aaron Rodgers sure as hell does. That was one of the team. So I know people are going to dog it, but low-key was a good signing. They signed him for next to nothing as an undrafted free agent out of Kentucky and developed him into a pretty solid backup. I do think Green Bay will regret losing him eventually, especially if it comes to light and then Aaron says, screw it, I'm done. Yeah, they're really going to miss having somebody that knows the system. The only thing that they really got going for him on that end is that LaFleur's only been there for 2 years. So actually Boyle's only got 1 year of experience on Jordan Love in that offense. So
I got an interesting take on this, but I'm going to give Buck a chance to answer the question first. Buck, what do you think? Do you think the Packers regret losing Tim Boyle?
I think not, because Tim Boyle is a highly overrated quarterback in all of the NFL. I got a chance to see him play at Eastern Kentucky right when I first moved down here, and I was not impressed by his ability at all on the field. And to see him get drafted, I was like, really? This guy? I mean, there are so many other better quarterbacks out there. Heck, I would take Alex Smith over him. I would take Taysom Hill over him. No, the Packers, they won't regret losing Tim. Blake Bortles was a great signing.
You're an idiot.
Not only do I think
he's just trying to get me going.
I know he's trying to. And listen, he almost had me too, but I caught it. I said, nope, not today, Satan. You won't do it today.
That's your new name, Buck. Your new name is Satan.
He's trying to stir the pot. That's evil at its best. No, but listen, I think they will regret it, and this are the reasons why. Not only would they regret him, they regret Jamal Williams both, because I know for a fact that those guys know enough about the Packers offense to talk to the Lions. They know enough information, they know enough calls and enough of the personnel to disclose to their team to get the win. And I think that right there is what you're going to see. We're going to know some things that, you guys probably didn't want us to know, but now we do. And I think that's a huge thing for me. Eltonio Jenkins says, what about that 2015 Broncos defense? Now, they were dominant. Yeah. They were good, but they weren't Ravens good. They weren't Ravens good. Yeah, like that's what I was just going to say. Like, they were good, but not Ravens good.
That Ravens defense had 5 Pro Bowlers on it, I believe.
Oh, it says, why would Rodgers go back to Green Bay when he's got Shailene Woodley at home?
Because she is not gorgeous at all. That's why. Good.
So okay, and this is every girlfriend that Rodgers has ever had, with the exception of what's her name, Patrick. Danica.
She's hot.
Have come to Green Bay, not known anything about it, and have loved it there. So I don't know. There's a story, and you may be able to find it, when he was dating Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn was on the phone with her agent, and she told her agent, hold on, the meat company's calling me. I got to go get my meat. Hold on 1 second. So there's a little place just outside of Green Bay called Maplewood Meat, calling her to tell her that her order was ready. And I guess to this day, she orders all of her meat from that little company.
Hey, what can you say? Sometimes when you need, your meats and you're not getting it at home, you got to go somewhere else, right?
Right.
Get your head out of gutters, boys.
I'm just saying. Why? So here's another question that comes from him. What defense was better, in 1991 Lions or the 2014 Lions? Love this question. Should do a video on it. I'm going to say 1991 Lions, and I'll tell you why. From every single level, there was talent. You had a Benny Blaze at safety that people was watching for, because he would light your ass up at the moment's notice. You had the cornerbacks that people had to respect with Crockett.
And Cologne too, wasn't it?
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then the linebackers. You had linebackers who scraped to the ball every step of the way. And yes, you had Ndamukong Suh on that 2014. Yes, you had Fairley, but you got to keep in mind that 91 team ran a 3-4 and was generally rushing the same 3 down linemen who were putting heat and pressure constantly on the quarterback and were motivated. That is a damn good question by you that should be more explored. And I'm going to go through and dissect it piece by piece and do a video on it because I think that's a question that people should look at. What has been the best defense in Lions history? And was the 91 team better? I love it. I just love the question. Steve says that 2014 Lions defense was one of the best run defense I ever seen. And that's where people get confused. They always talk about how great the 2014 defense was. I'm like, yeah, it was great against the run particularly. But in terms of doing what the Lions did in 91, in terms of touching and pressure on the quarterback, they were okay. It's not comparable. Let's see. What other questions we got before we get up out of here? I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nobody. Trust Riley Reef is going to get Burrow killed. Yes. Hey, since you live in Green Bay, can you get Luke tickets to the Lions-Packers game? I think the Packers is one of the hardest tickets to get in sports.
I might be able to help you out there, my friend.
Well, we gonna talk. We definitely
gonna have to talk because I think I can get part owner. I am part owner, and I have about 30 friends that have season tickets. So.
Yeah, I know the last time I checked, they said they had like a waiting list, and even the visitor tickets get sold out quick. Like, it's crazy.
If you went and put your children on the list today, your children's grandchildren might get tickets.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, I know that Green Bay. In Pittsburgh, I hear are like 2 of the hardest tickets to come.
Denver's really hard.
Okay. I never heard about the Denver one, but I know I've heard about Pittsburgh, and I know I've heard about I've heard the stories about Green Bay. I'm like, oh, this is nuts. Like there are people who literally be on their deathbed, don't want to give those tickets up because they know if they lose it, they'll never get them back, and they want the family to keep going.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and they changed the rules, so now you can only pass tickets down to immediate family. Like before, like when you died, you could pass your tickets down to whoever you wanted.
Right.
And now you can't. It has to be immediate family. So if you got season tickets and you're the last of the line, didn't have no kids, you can't even pass your tickets down.
Wow, that's nuts. Steve says, I wouldn't be upset if Trey Lance beat us. We couldn't have drafted him. But if Fields whoop us, I'm going to be pretty upset. That's a good point.
I hate the Bears with all my life, but I think Fields is going to be a pretty good quarterback in this league.
I think Fields is going to suffer over there. They don't have enough damn stuff around him to support him, and I just feel like this happens too often. What's the word I want to use? I feel like every time you look in the NFL, there's quarterbacks that you go, oh, they suck. Like David Carr to me wasn't a bad quarterback. His organization sucked.
Yeah, he had no line. He got hit so many times, it destroyed his confidence, and he was scared back there because he knew he was going to get hit. I don't care who you are. It's the same thing. It's almost like an abusive relationship. You keep doing something wrong, you're going to get hit. And he just kept getting hit. So you're obviously going to become gun shy at that point. Oh, he is correct. It was Any Given Sunday that it was in.
Yep, Any Given Sunday was the movie where he played himself.
Yeah, literally played himself.
Top 5 movie of all time.
Steve-O says, Luke, you crazy. That 2014 Lions defense was a lot better than 1991. I think the 1991 defense was sick. I think it was sick. I think what they was able to do was sick. Every level, D-line, linebacker, safety, they had it all. I can't say that for 2014. And you're talking about a team, for the most part, that was relatively healthy, and the way the game was played back then was brutal. Now, the way the game is played now is more restrictive toward the defense, but a lot of the times, like to me, oh, you're really good against the run. Most teams don't run the ball. So that stat to me is misleading. Show me where teams are running the ball on the regular, and we can talk about it. So just saying. Now they have players on 14 that I love, but that 91 defense, man.
That 91 defense, you got to look at that. Their front three: Mark Spindler, who was a great player, Dan Owens, who was a great player, and Jerry Ball.
Dude, just constant 3 people. They were getting pressure with 3 people. We were sending 4 to get our pressure. And a lot of times in the past, crucial downs, you would throw the ball to a receiver, and Beanie Blaze was punishing. Half the time he could have went for the interception. He said, nope, I want you to know I'm here. And he would lay into you. And then you could blitz from any. Man, I'm sorry. Maybe
William White, and Benny Blades were probably at that time. I would say they were the second best safety duo in the league behind Louis Oliver and Jarvis Williams from the Dolphins that year.
It's just like I said, I could, it could be crazy, but it is what it is. Luke, you sound like a casual Fields has comment, David Montgomery. See, here's the problem. Okay. Where you're missing it is this. It's the reason why Matt Nagy and Pace is on the hot seat. And that's because they don't use their weapons. They don't use David Montgomery. In fact, I remember when the Bears had that draft, and I said, they maximized their draft that year, got a lot of talent, didn't even use him. David Montgomery should get like 30-something carries a game.
They didn't utilize Montgomery great when they lost Terry Cohen last year, though, and he comes back this year.
Yeah, but then we're talking about the tight end position. He's talking about Coleman, the tight end.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not comment, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I just know he played at Notre Dame.
Right. Yeah, I'm not worried about him. I mean, I know you may do it. They got Darnell Mooney, so they got Allen Robinson, so they're starting Andy Dalton. What we talking about?
If Allen Robinson shows up.
Here you go, this top 15 stuff. Damn it, Buck. No, I mean, listen, let's be honest. If you're going to tell me that I should be concerned for those players, then and I'm telling you that, look, they're starting Andy Dalton. Their schedule is tougher than our schedule. Why am I panicked about the Bears? Like, Fields does not have enough around him to help. And I noticed that you named all these skill positions, but you know what's funny? Again, I keep bringing this up, buffed up, that keeps getting overlooked. Patrick Mahomes had all those skill positions and then some. And he got to the Super Bowl with a team who said, we're going to eliminate you the easiest way possible. We're going to take your quarterback out of the picture. Now what? And it's funny that our defensive backs head coach said the best defensive backs he ever coached was Aaron Donald. So there's something to be said when you don't have protection. You want to look at that same Super Bowl game and tell me how many times the Kansas City Chiefs defense got near Tom Brady. I'll wait. I mean, he literally was making sandwiches, mimosas, and watching Breaking Bad, and then deciding to get up and throw the ball. He was well protected. They were able to run the ball. And at the end of the day, you're not going to tell me that that's what the Bears have. I don't see him making those adjustments. I just don't. Fields is going to be the next Trubisky. Well, that means that they're going to beat us then. So, because Trubisky did a very good job against us. What did Luke admit is a passing league? I didn't admit that. I think the league is it's a passing league up until playoffs. First black man on the net says, I thought I heard the 2014 defense was a number 9 in NFL history. I could be wrong, but do the research. I'm gonna double check that. I don't think I think we were number 2 as a run defense in 2014, and I think overall defense number 9 in NFL. That seems high. I would be shocked if that's true. I thought I'd never see the day. Oh my God. See, so I'm notorious for saying that this is not a passing league. It's just not. The teams who are winning from November on out are running the ball. It's been consistent that way. I've followed enough years of it to see that that's what happens. In fact, you can literally go through and look at the stat lines, and there's only a few teams where they led in rushing and lost, but the majority of the times when you win the rushing attack, you win the game.
Even then, if you look back to the Rams Super Bowl push, yeah, they were a high-flying offense, but come December time, they were running the ball a heck of a lot more. It's probably 50-50 at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You also had Todd Gurley without arthritic knees at that point.
Right.
Again, I simply rest my case. Okay. All right, good people. Listen, that is our show. We have been on for almost 2 hours. I cannot have thanked Tori and Buck enough from coming over from Man Hour and having fun with me. It's simple. You want to get on the show, reach out to me and we talk. I do the screening through the Twitter or Instagram if you got one of those two, and then I get you on and we collab and get this thing going. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure you subscribe to them, because guess what? I'm going to be over there and I'm probably going to get harassed because I got to hear how Andy Dalton's a top 15 quarterback, and I got to be able to take that in stride. I don't know where the hell that's coming from. I don't know what drug that is, but I'm going to find out what it is, and he's going to share it because I know he's a sharing kind. So, give the people your final thoughts, Buck, for today.
So one thing's first, guys, is the Detroit Lions fan base over this last hour and a half or 2 hours we have been on the show. You guys are real hot or cold, and I'm not for sure why that is. Like I feel like some people are like all in on the team, win, lose, or draw, but then there's some people are like, yeah, I'm only here if we do good. What is up with that, guys? I mean, like, I'm not trying to dog you, but I'm just trying to say the iPhone is always an iPhone, Android's always a Android, and the Detroit Lions will always be the Detroit Lions. They will never be a great team, but they'll never be a bad team either. They're always going to be right there in the hunt year in and year out.
You know, it's funny you say that because I spent a lot of time going in on the fan base. It's a lot of trauma in the Detroit Lions fan base, a lot of trauma. And you will see those hot and cold up and down. We've had 19 different starting quarterbacks. Every single one of them have been blamed for the Lions' failures. You know, we go 0-16, and they find a way to blame it on Dan Orlowski because it's his fault for running out the back of the end zone, because that's the only thing they can hold their head on. You know, Jared Davis can't cover because he gets beat one play by Zeke Elliott. This fan base has a lot of trauma and PTSD, and so unfortunately, yeah, you're going to get the ups and the downs. So but it's what you saw is real. It's not fake.
But hey, I need you guys to win 10 games this season, so you can win the division.
I think we're gonna shock a lot of people. I really do. Tori, again, could not be more ecstatic that we was able to do this. What do you have for your final thoughts for the people?
Well, first, I'd just like to say thanks to you for having us on, because this has been an absolute pleasure to just even talk about football, because even though I'm a Packers fan, I do like to talk about things objectively and try not to lean too far into my team, which I do a little bit here and there. But it's always fun to analyze with other teams, with the fans and the people in the chat as well, you know, about their team. Because the one thing, as we get going into this and we keep doing this more, we're finding out that, man, we trigger fan bases pretty easily.
Oh yeah,
on our stuff, man. I will tell you,
Bengals are the worst.
The Bengals and the Titans fans have come straight at us. We got great reaction from the Redskins fans too. So this is a learning experience, and I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the ride, and I can't say thank you enough to you, Luke, for having us on.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate it. Hopefully I get y'all back on, and I can't wait to join y'all over there and have some fun and just talk some football. Because most people, like I said, I dedicated to the Lions because we don't get the respect that we're supposed to get, but I follow football. I got a bad addiction. It is what it is. You know, I follow it all. So good people, thank y'all for coming in. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so. If you have not hit that bell, trust me, you're gonna want to do that, because I do this on a regular basis. I have more people who are coming to join me to talk some football. Also, if you have not hit the subscribe button on Man Hour's podcast show, it is linked in the description. You cannot miss it. There's no way possible for you to miss it. And you know me, I cannot end a show unless we do it on a positive note. And in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, you know I'm giving you quotes based on that. So today's quote comes from an icon, somebody that you may not have heard of or you may have heard of. His name is Hunter S. Thompson. Now you may be asking yourself, who in the hell is Hunter? Let me give you his better name. He's Gonzo from the Muppets. You remember that guy, Gonzo from the Muppets? Yes, that guy, one of my favorite characters of all time. He says, never turn your back on fear. It should always be in front of you, like a thing that you have to look at that needs to be killed. Face your fears, run at it, and do it with pride. See, this is funny because I think some of us sometimes spend a lot of time trapped behind fear. We can't go and ask for that raise because we're stuck behind fear. We can't find that new job or start our new business because we're stuck behind fear. We can't go and talk to that girl or that guy because we are stuck behind fear. The problem with you being stuck behind fear is you are allowing fear to lead you in directions that you have no business going in. See, this is where I find that it's intriguing for us to just simply tell fear to F off. I got things that need to be done and get out my way. So when you put fear behind you, see, that's the killing part of it. And it's a slow kill because at that point, when you get past it, everything that you thought that you couldn't do becomes an open, simple, open door to opportunity. I'm asking you to step into your opportunity. Get past fear, kill it, face it, stare it down. And once it's out your way, let it be known that that's just one less thing that could ever have a chance to conquer you. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you support the channel, support Man Hour, and as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research. I am out. We are out. One love.